Beep, 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 beep. Bo, 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 bo. Here I am. What don't you know? I've been upgrading this truck like crazy, and at 3,000 subscribers, one lucky person's gonna win it. It's got tons of brass, it's got a Fusion SE, and an AGFRC 45 kilogram brushless servo. Ooh, mama! Welcome back to another episode of VIB CRC. Today we are going to be talking about axles. We purchased some knockoff axles from Aliexpress, and we're going to take a look at them. These silver ones right here. And we're going to take these apart. See what the differences are. We're going to see if they're compatible with one another, and we're going to check to see what the metal is like, if it's soft or hard. I also have the rear axle right here, so we're going to dig into that, and we have all of the links here for the steering, all metal rod ends as well. And then on a side note, I picked up these for an offset Capra. So you can see here, these are double jointed. And these are constant velocity, I guess is what they are. Or perhaps maybe give us more steering angle. We're gonna look at that and we're gonna find out. But let's get this to the bench and we'll take a look at it. Okay, we do have many things coming in, and I'm going to be very busy showing you guys a bunch of stuff. First of all, we will get these axles down and out. We're going to check them straight off the bat and see how they are. Okay, so first thing first, let's just check the hardness of the metal. I usually use a X-Acto blade. So looks like I can actually peel that away with a number 11. The metal's a bit soft. How that will hold up, I don't know. But you can see right there. Right here. I've just chiseled a little bit off. I'll do it again. So you can see I just flaked a little bit off. So it's a little bit soft. It's not as hard as the Capra axles that I found on AliExpress. So there's the one point that we got. So look, we found that out. And there's no thread lock in those at all. That came out really easily. Just, yeah, it's like, that is really easily. Oh yeah, look at this. Like, I can undo that really easy. And it doesn't look like there's much of grease in there. Like, there's grease in there, but it's not like all over the place. So those are steel. They look like hardened steel, like they advertised. There's the CVDs. So it looks like this is stainless steel in the middle. Of course, we have our bearings. Now, I did find when I was twisting this, I can feel the gear mesh turning. But it's not like it's not stiff, you know. But I can feel the gear mesh turning. They do have a locker on them. Okay, so it is a triangular locker, so much like the Boom Racing. So the gear ratio on these axles is 7.19. The bevel and pinion gear, or the ring pinion, is a 30 tooth. This is 30 tooth and 8, which is pretty standard for most axial trucks. And the portal gears are a 20 and 28 to give us the 7.19 ratio. So that is what we have. So all taken apart, came apart very easily. You can see the insides there. Really, that grease wasn't very well greased. Pretty solid all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to Loctite everything in here. But before we do that, I'm going to take the VRD axle off of my VRD, and we're just going to do a little switcheroo and see if everything fixed together all tidy. All right, so right off the bat, I can tell you these are definitely not copies at all. There are quite a few differences here. This set is obviously set up for panhard. As you can see here, that the Vanquish mount here does not have a third screw here. Although you can probably put this into here. We're going to find out, in fact, if you can, but your mount would not have a third screw hole. So let's just take a look at that. Okay, so you can see that that would actually bolt straight up pretty easily. There is a little bit of... It's not keyed exactly. Actually, you can see it right here. It's hitting the bottom of the mounting bracket. You could easily fix that with a couple spacers though, and you'd probably have to use a longer screw. The other thing would be yeah, you'd have to push this in a little bit in order to get the link to lock into place. I mean, it's a close enough fit that you could work with it. You just wouldn't have a screw in that spot. Okay, so we got the actual F10 apart. This is the gear that the F10 uses. This is the F10 knockoffs, and they actually fit together quite nicely. And no issues there. So side by side, there are very subtle differences, such as the keying is flat here on the copy, whereas on the Vanquish one it's got more of a slant there. So you can see, get that to focus there for you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. That's a little bit different. Plus you got the stainless steel here. The keying for your portal gears is exactly the same, and the length is exactly the same. And here's the difference between your ring and pinion assemblies. They're pretty much identical. So besides the inability to use the mount that's here, they're pretty much the same layout. They're not exactly the same. They have a little bit different designs on them, but yeah, they seem to work together. So they're compatible more or less, but like more for a VS 410 where you got a panhard, whereas this the VRD doesn't have one. So that would be your only difference. So I did notice a small difference in the smaller portal gears here, and you can see that although they do work on each other's CVDs, the keying looks a bit different, whereas this one's got a bit on the inside here, and this one's got more of a shape to it that you can see. So, but other than that, I mean, they have the same gear mesh. So these are for your Vanquish. Let's put this in. So this is the one I had on my Vanquish. This is the upgrade. Let's see if they can fit together. And they do. They key in perfectly. So you can upgrade them pretty easily with any of the brass upgrades you can find out there. Not an issue there. The axle stubs are the same size. You don't need to worry about that. Same size axle stubs. This orange line is going to tell us if that part of the axle twists. So it'll give us a relative idea if that metal's any good or not. Copies in China, depending on what you're buying, can actually be really quite durable and good. But we're going to find out if this one is. I can't say for sure, and only time's going to tell. So actually I had a better idea. I put this end in a vise, and then I grabbed this with a crescent wrench, and then I twisted it. Down here was starting to twist a bit, but I'm not seeing anything that's causing it to lose its integrity there. And that was quite a bit of leverage on there. So I would say even on 4S, this is probably going to do just fine. It's still straight. So I'm like, there was a little bit of flex, but it just kind of sprung back into its own position. So yeah, no issues with that. So here we got them back together. The interesting thing about the links is clearly the thread is still showing even after I found where the center was. This side had gone in all the way, and that's how much was left. This one could still go in, but I had to back it out just to get the center more straight. The other thing I noticed is steering's fairly identical, except for the one side when turning. Not really sure why that is. In fact, this side actually turns in a little bit more, but I'm sure we can change that by shaving down the bump stop, which I'm actually going to just do right now and see what we can come up with here. Okay, so we just shaved it down like a mil on each side, and as you can see, we've actually opened it up quite a bit, so we're probably a little bit more so than the stock one on the one side. But let's try it back this way. Oh yeah, just a bit, just a little bit more, not too much. We're probably sitting close to 50 degrees there. So yeah, after cutting the aluminum, the aluminum is not super soft. It's not super hard though. I used a drill to drill put everything back into place, and it didn't strip it out. So I'd say this is like a mid-grade aluminum. It's probably like a 6061 series aluminum. The other thing I'd noticed is I had one bolt that was kind of little off. That was the only piece of hardware that was like kind of misconstrued, but that happens from time to time. Not perfect. $111, not too shabby. I think with the brass that's in here, they probably weigh about the same if I had these stock. So that's something to know. All right, so the front axles are pretty good. They're pretty decent. Besides the fact that the mount would just need that last little hole there, but I mean, that's really not going to matter too much because you do have the hole that goes in through here for the link to keep that stable. So I mean, if you really wanted to, you could still use this mount setup on this axle and not have a real issue with it. There was a little bit of difference just on this little ridge under here, but not enough to make it not work. And if you really wanted to, you could just kind of carve that out just a little bit. And it wasn't very much either. It was like a millimeter or something stupid like that. So on the rear axles, the design on the back here for the pumpkin's nice. So this has a nice slant on it, which I really like. But other than that, pretty similar to the stock ones. No real issues. So pretty smooth turning there. No issues there. I was gonna do. So this is the stock. Is quite heavy, obviously, and we got the front one here. So yeah, good gear mesh, not too bad. I did re-grease everything because obviously it was, and it doesn't. I can't even feel that gear meshing anymore. So clearly it was a result of not having enough grease in there. So yeah, if you do manage to buy these, make sure that you're taking them apart, because as you can see here, well, that's in there. This is not pre-Loctite, right? So you do need to go through and re-Loctite everything and re-grease everything. But other than that, pretty decent. Not bad. Worth the $111, I would say. Well, guys, decent axles for the price, for sure. Don't really have that many complaints about them at all. Would have liked to see this a little bit better. Like paid attention to the amount of threading that was showing, but that's not really a huge deal on that amount. I would say that these would probably fetch an 8 out of 10. I mean, just for the price that you pay for them, they're definitely worth the value. The aluminum could have been better. You know, I've seen similar priced axles out there, which I've already reviewed, and they had a bit harder aluminum. But I mean, these will hold up for what you're going to be using them for. And the fact that you have keyed ring and pinion, and the steel was good for the CVD. That reminds me, I got to show you the crescent wrench I was using. Was this. Okay, so it wasn't a small crescent wrench, and what I did is I put the end in the vise, and then I was twisting it like this to see how much leeway we had on that, and it was more than you would have say on a 4S. That's for damn sure, because the amount of leverage that you get on this is it's quite a bit. But yeah, so 8 out of 10. You can upgrade them just by shaving down that little bump there. That really increased the steering angle a ton. And I did notice that the other thing is this steering link sits out further, obviously, because it's got more of a bend on the link there, on the rod ends. So that's why you can actually end up getting even more steering. But yeah, not a bad deal for $111 on sale. The black ones I found were $20 more expensive. because they were black. And I think that's just in case people were like, oh, I don't really want silver, you know. But that's personal preference. I got these for 111 because I just wanted something cheap to show you guys. And it's not cheap because it's $111. But yeah, so that's it. We were gonna put those on something eventually, and we're gonna run them on something, or I will sell them. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it.
Later that same evening.
Well, guys, I have just found out a couple of things about these axles. It had come with these nuts. Now, these are a M3 nut. They are nylon locking nuts, but if you look closely, you can see that they don't have the nylon in it. And the reason for that is because they are used as a spacer. They are the exact size of the spacer. So I have to apologize to the people that developed these, because I did not notice that until I went back online to find that out. The other thing I had also found out, I was looking up to try and find a servo mount for on the axle for these. Maybe just like a Vanquish one originally. But I did find out that they have a behind the servo mount for this specific axle. It's like $18 or something like that. And it comes in all the colors that you can get these axles in. So we've purchased one of those, and we're going to have one of those shipped to us, and we're going to try that out. So pretty cool. It's going to fit this exactly, so there's going to be no messing around. So that's going to be super awesome. All right, guys, until next time.
I forgot.